Welcome everybody to another Voice of Nick show. We're doing more video editing on our Metal Gear 1 classic game review here. Let's see what we have up to this point.
Kojima was definitely interested in not letting you rest on your laurels. This may not be an action game. It's kind of like the anti-action game in its thesis, but it is certainly exciting all the time.
Okay. So we were coming from, what, storyline, unique features was the thing we had just done, right?
Like the anti-action.
Right. Now score, boss battles, a little bit more about the MSX versus NES, and then it's over. So, okay, score, I don't know what this was. Let's take a look.
Metal Gear 1 has an amazing score. I adore the score of this game. It's probably one of my favorite scores in a Metal Gear franchise game, including the Solid games. Especially the score...
No, I think I'm going to skip that because we can just play the score. I don't think I had any good stuff to say about, or good enough stuff to say about it to merit making a section about it.
So in Metal Gear 1, the boss battles necessarily aren't that much to speak of. It seems like the game is... So in Metal Gear 1, the boss battles necessarily aren't that much to speak of. It seems like the game is more focused, in this game at least, it's more focused on kind of like the adventure itself and finding the places you're trying to find, like in a puzzle game variety. The bosses themselves seem to be more of an afterthought. Most of them you can actually just kill by standing in the corner and shooting a remote missile at them. But there are a few really interesting ones. In particular, Dirty Duck is a boss who he actually keeps a bunch of human shields, who not only if you kill the human shield will you actually kill one of the innocent survivors of the complex, but also one of your handlers, the human shield is her brother. The human shield who Dirty Duck is holding human shield who Dirty Duck is holding, they will not talk to you. Your handler will actually not help you until for the rest of the game. The human shield is actually related to one of the human shields, so that if you kill her brother, so that if you kill her brother, so that if you kill her brother, so that if you kill the human shield who Dirty Duck is holding, they will not talk to you. Your handler will actually not help you until for the rest of the game. So it creates like this really interesting consequence.
Actually, I think we could just insert that clip that we had now. We'll probably put it between those two sections right here. Oops.
So one of your handlers, the human shield is her brother.
Whoa. I am Dirty Duck. Go ahead and shoot if you dare. Oh god.
Is a boss who he actually keeps a bunch of human shields.
Okay, so maybe we could just get rid of that part.
Human shields.
Whoa. I am Dirty Duck. Go ahead and shoot if you dare. Oh god. God.
So that if you kill
more. Oh god.
So that if you kill the human shield who Dirty Duck is holding, they will not talk to you. Your handler will actually not help you until for the rest of the game. So it creates like this really interesting consequence for murdering one of the human shields during that boss battle, which really actually creates a super interesting scenario. That's probably my favorite of the boss battles in this game.
Okay. I don't know if there's going to be a clip that we'd put here or what, but let's see what's up next. All sound. We have the MSX again. And then the conclusion, and we're probably going to try and combine these two things, so let's see what we got.
So Metal Gear 1 came out in 1987. This was for the MSX console, a Japanese...
Okay, first we have to see what we had here. because we already used part of this.
So Metal Gear 1 came out in 1987. This was for the MSX console, a Japanese video game console. You might be familiar with the NES version of the game, which incidentally had a bunch of content that Kojima did not create. So if you want to play the original, the MSX is the way to go. Man, it's really good. This game is still...
Okay, that's everything for that.
So Metal Gear 1, the NES version of the game, which incidentally had a bunch of content that Kojima did not create. I guess the NES version is not technically canon. It included a intro sequence that was not created by Kojima, as well as an alternate ending. So if you want to play the original, the MSX is the way to go.
We're probably going to cut that whole sequence because we sort of cannibalized it.
So if you're looking to play Metal Gear 1 yourself, I highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan like I am of the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Absolutely informative. It is canon in the Metal Gear, entire universe, so it's certainly worth playing for that reason, but even as a video game itself, very, very worthy game. The only thing is, if you're going to play Metal Gear, worthy, as a video game itself, very, very worthy. Very worthy. The only thing is, if you're going to play Metal Gear, I highly recommend not playing the NES version of the game. Though this is the one that most people remember who grew up in the States, because the NES is the console that was around, that is not the canon experience of Metal Gear. What you should do, if you're asking me, and you are, because you're watching this video, what I recommend doing is pick up the Legacy Collection. Grew up in the States because the NES is the console that was around. That is not the canon experience of Metal Gear. Metal Gear.
So this is where we'll insert that part about what the differences are.
You might be familiar with the NES content that Kojima did not create. I guess the NES version is. I guess the NES version is not technically canon. It included a. That is not the canon experience of Metal Gear. It included a. Of Metal Gear. It included a canon experience of Metal Gear. It included a intro sequence that was not created by Kojima. It included a. It included an intro sequence that was not. It included an intro sequence that was. Of Metal Gear. It included an intro sequence that was not created by Kojima, as well as an alternate ending. So if you want to play the original, the MSX is the way to go.
So we have to cut that out because we already used it. But I think we have something that covers it.
What you should do is alternate ending. What I recommend. What ending. What I recommend. Alternate ending. What I recommend doing.
Damn, I sort of peaked on the audio there. I wonder if I can just turn it down, or if that's... No, if I'm peaking, it's probably because...
What I recommend do...
Because I peaked on the original.
What I recommend...
Yeah, you can hear it still peaking, so whatever.
Alternate ending. What I recommend doing is pick up the Legacy Collection or the Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, which include versions of Metal Gear Solid 3. And if you go into Metal Gear Solid 3, you'll actually see that they have remasters of both Metal Gear 1 and 2 in that version of the game. So do that. You'll actually be playing the original versions of both of those games, which, had a lot of separation when they came out on the NES. So these are the original MSX2 versions. I highly recommend jumping into that remaster, playing those versions of the game. But however you so do that, you'll actually be playing the original versions of both of those games, which MSX2 versions. I highly recommend jumping into that remaster, playing those versions of the game. But however you do that, you'll actually be playing a version of the game. So of both Metal Gear 1 and 2 in that version of the game. So I highly recommend jumping into that remaster, playing those versions of the game. So I highly recommend jumping into that remaster, playing those versions of the game. But however you go about it, Metal Gear 1, awesome game. Give it a shot. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching this classic game review of Metal Gear 1. Look out for more of these things. I'm a huge Metal Gear fan, so I'll probably be doing more of these as we progress through the franchise. Don't forget to subscribe on this YouTube channel and leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite thing about Metal Gear 1 is. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.
Great. Okay, so if we move this down, our video ends up roughly 6.5 minutes. So maybe let's say it would be like somewhere between 7 and 8 minutes with the clips, depending on how long the clips are. That's pretty good. Or it's certainly a more bite-sized version than our previous ones. And we get a lot of info in there. It's not like it feels lacking.
So if you're looking to play Metal Gear...
Okay, so now we do our second pass watching through the VO. We make sure that there's no redundancies. You know, a lot of times when you're editing each little piece, you can kind of forget, like, oh, I already mentioned this, or I don't really need to say this thing because it's already sort of implied or whatever. So let's watch it again, make sure there's no redundancies, then we start putting in clips from the game.
Ladies and gents, we have finished playing Metal Gear on stream. I'm super excited. This is my favorite franchise of all time. Metal Gear 1 is an absolute classic, and it still holds up. So let's take a look at Metal Gear 1.
Why is there this weird popping sound? This happened in the last one too.
Ladies and gents, we have finished playing...
What if I take out the audio effects?
Ladies and gents, we
Yeah,
have
it's still
finished
in there.
playing...
It's got to be a glitch in Premiere's playback.
Ladies and gents, we have finished...
Let's see what happens if I export it. Oh, look, it has to render every single audio file before it'll... That's pretty dumb. I don't know why Premiere has to do that. So it's like, despite the fact that we're only exporting the first, 15 seconds of the video, it's actually going through and rendering every single audio edit in the entire sequence before we export, which maybe it just has to do that once, so maybe we won't have to do it again later. I'm not sure. I never really have cause to do something like this where I just don't export the whole thing. So now let's see what this looks like.
Ladies and gents, we have finished playing Metal Gear.
Yeah, it's still popping. I don't understand it. But we'll table that. I'll put a little red marker on it.
We have finished playing Metal Gear on stream. I'm super excited. This is my favorite franchise of all time. Metal Gear 1 is an absolute classic, and it still holds up. So let's take a look at Metal Gear 1. So Metal Gear 1 came out in 1987. This was for the MSX console, a Japanese video game console. You might be familiar with the NES version of the game, which incidentally had a bunch of content that Kojima did not create. So if you want to play the original, the MSX is the way to go. Man, it's really good. This game is still great. The storyline, as we come in, Solid Snake is like a rookie.
I'm gonna save a screenshot of this. I think, so if you take a look at my office, you'll notice that there over here are a bunch of video games. I actually just keep a bunch of 360, PS2, PS3, classic games on my floor. so that, and they're pointing upwards, so I can like look down and see all the boxes. But I'm looking at this, and I have all this artwork here. What if I hung like some shelves right here that had all the games on it? That would probably be kind of cool. So this is a little bit of interior decorating screenshotting that I'm doing right now, because I would like to actually try and do that. So I'm going to save this to my oh, I don't have access to the folder. All right, well, I'll just save it in here then. I'm curious how that would look. I'll have to test it out.
So Metal Gear 1 came out in 1987. This was for the MSX console, a Japanese video game console.
Okay, cool. We have our sequence put together. We're going to do the watch through on the next one, because I don't think we're going to have enough time to watch through the whole thing this time. So let's do the watch through on that one. Then all we do is, the next step is we go through once for content, we go through the next pass for clips, we add all the clips, then we put in the music, and then it's done. This time I'm not going to do any fancy like cropping thing where I take out, you know, I enlarge the video and then move my head up. I don't want to do that because the game is so low res that it would just look really bad if we zoomed in that far. So, oops. So, you know, we're not going to have to worry about that, which means it's going to be a lot faster of an editing process. Ladies and gents, that'll do it for this one. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Now, if you don't know where these videos end up, you can go on YouTube. All these videos we edit end up on a YouTube video called Voice of Nick Vlogs. So you can go on YouTube and search Voice of Nick Vlogs. Make sure you subscribe on there. There's already 7 videos, I believe, on that channel right now that we've edited on our streams and then posted on that channel. You can see the newest one in the chat right there. We just made a Hobbit classic game review, the Hobbit game from 2003. Give that a look. Give it a comment if you like what you see, or if you don't, let me know what you think. I'll see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.